3 minutes worth of heating so that it actually just comes off. I kid you not, I probably spent an hour working on that bolt on the other side.
Do you think the car has been pitching side to side when you put the gas on a little bit?
We have a problem here.
Dude, your control arm snapped in half.
Upper or lower?
Lower. Lower control arm has a giant crack through it.
We're leaking fuel, so.
Not safe to continue. We're gonna go pick her up.
So we're gonna go get the trailer and come back for it.
Got lucky. So where's the fill neck? The tur's been rubbing a lot. I think that has been rubbing on the fuel tank or something near it. Welcome to Seal Beam Rally Team. We're here with Gavin from Red Hen Racing. We broke his Supra at the Press On Regardless Rally in September, so he's got this parts car here, but he doesn't know how to work on rusty stuff. Where are you from? You from Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had a trailing arm on the Supra that was already pretty wallowed out and rusted, and it did not survive press on regardless. We tried to press on with as little regard as possible, but
a little bit too little regard.
Yeah, it didn't quite make it. And I'm not sure what stage of capitalism this is, but these trailing arms go for like $300 and $400, and it was actually somehow cheaper to just buy a whole parts car that had decent stuff on it. So
yeah,
we gotta get all that off and transfer it over to the good car.
We're gonna pull the control arms off here. We're gonna get everything pulled apart for him and show him a couple tricks.
I've been corrected several times. We're going to keep calling it a control arm. I know it's technically a trailing arm, but fuck you.
Here's the actual trailing arm, control arm thing. It's at about a 45-degree angle like the Corvair, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, independent rear suspension, and we have a axle in there as well. We got to unhook.
We've already done one side of the car, and it didn't go very easily. There was some cutting wheels involved.
That was you and Alex, right?
Yeah. So that's why I've called in backup with you know the rust make it happener.
I don't have the best luck with rear suspension bolts, as you may remember, but we're gonna give it a shot. So we have some tools here. Our tools include a conductive heater that I love and I've used on my Corvair quite a bit, and we have some water in a spray bottle. I gotta undo it because it was in the car.
What's the water for?
I'll show you. And then we have a PB blaster. It doesn't matter what blaster you use as long as it's an oil.
PB blaster is always the move.
Let's get it going. Just check the CV axle bolt sizes. It's got 4 bolts in there, and they're 14mm bolts. So I got my thin little 3/8 socket with an adapter to the breaker bar. I've also got my several different sizes of these ends for the inductive heater, so I'm going to use the one that fits most closely, and it'll actually get in beside the CV and the bolt, so I can get kind of all the way around that nut. Let's go in there and heat it up. All I do is I put this around the edge and then around the bolt, and then I put it on, hold the button for 30 seconds at a time. Try not to touch the end to the bolt. So this basically has coils here, and the coils heat up anything metal inside the coils. And then I go with water and I kind of quench it. The heater will heat this thing up, and then we quench it to cool it back down really quickly and kind of shock it. And that way the expansion and contraction can break some of the rust loose. So I'm gonna go again. And I usually do this, do cycles of it, duty cycles on the inductive heater. I go until it's glowing red hot sometimes, if I can. So typically I wouldn't use this if I'm not gonna try to reuse the stud. I don't know if you're gonna get a new whole wheel bearing assembly or not. Usually I look into that stuff before I start trying to break bolts off.
No. Due diligence and prior research is not a thing we do around here.
I'm gonna try it with the breaker bar here while it's still hot. Is there a way we can...
I can jam the wheel. Or in the rotor.
There you go.
There you go. Why did we do that the hard way?
Sometimes the hard way is more fun. Do you have a pipe? You have a pipe over here, right? Oh, we got turnage. Yep, we got that. After we have this thing broken loose with the heat, I want to go back with the PB blaster or Deep Creep or whatever you use, and I hit that thing with oil. So the The heat gets it so you can pull the, get the thing cracked loose, and the oil helps you actually turn it off once it is loose. If you put oil on before and it's all rusted up, the oil actually isn't going to penetrate very well because you don't have any ingress. You need that crack between the two parts for it to actually have that capillary action work. All right, we got one bolt or one nut here. Yeah, here's your next bolt. Screw. I keep calling bolts. They're nuts.
How's the Corvair going?
Corvair, I'm trying to do the shrouds next, and I can't put the engine in until the shrouds are on. Yeah. So that's got to go on. It's like the most pain in the ass water pump in the world. Basically. Yeah. Lucky on that one, jeez. You might be able to reuse this if you need to. Yeah. With new nuts.
Hopefully we don't break all of them on the good car.
Fighting me every step of the way. But that's okay. If it turns, it burns. If it trunnions, it bunions.
Is that what they say?
That's what they say. Next up, we want to get the sway bar link off. We can get new ones of these, but I want to be gentle if I can and not make a bigger mess than we need to. It's actually pretty weird compared to sway bar links now, because usually there's a little like 3-inch, spacer section, but this is bolted straight through the sway bar. Yeah. Sway bar looks really rough, dude. Do you have one in the car that you have right now?
Yeah, the one in the car is fine.
Okay.
But we'll also probably be going aftermarket for that at some point anyway.
This thing looks so bad, I'm not even going to try to pop it off with the wrench yet. I'm going to give this thing a good soak first.
Maybe mention that you can bend those tips, because I didn't know that for sure.
Yeah, I did bend that attachment, which is not something you want to do all the time, but you can do it once or twice. The instructions say it can mess up your pacemaker if you have a pacemaker, so...
Neat.
Yeah. Obviously you don't want to stop your heart over it.
It's the perfect murder. They would never figure it out.
Right? I don't know, his heart just melted. I don't know where this is even supposed to go. Perfect. That was gorgeous.
Yeah, that moved nice and easy. These are still all the easy bolts. It's those up in the subframe that is... I'm interested to see how you tackle those. Because we wound up cutting them on the other side.
Yeah. Next is the shock bolt. This is actually I'm told, a bolt that goes into a female stud. So we're going to have to be very careful on this. The heating technique is not going to work as well, so I'm going to use a larger adapter on that to try to heat up the whole end of the shock. I don't know how well it's going to work, but we can try.
Yeah, because we're doing a coilover conversion on the car anyway, so these shocks are complete junk.
They're complete junk anyway.
Yeah, solid junk.
So one other option is to undo the shock mount on the top. Yep. If it's got a single bolt on the top, it might be easier, but we're going to try this, see if it works. Bad dog. Normally if you use a torch, you're only heating the outside. Since this is like a magnetic inductance thing, it should do a little better. Bad dog. No matter what, we can always know that there are rusty bolts to get off an old car. It's like a constant in our lives. Do you feel comfort in that, Gavin?
In life, we all have our own rusty bolts. And sometimes it just takes the right fellow with an inductive heater come along and get them loose for you.
We got our rubber actually falling out of the bottom. I don't know if you're able to see this.
Yeah, it's roasting out of there.
Let's see if we can get this thing cranked loose. Oh yeah. Look at that. Perfect. Actually, that bolt looks brand new inside. I love it.
Very cool.
Let's move on to the hard stuff. We got 2 pivot bolts for, are those nuts or are they captive nuts?
I don't remember. Okay. I was kind of drunk when we did that.
Maybe if we can back the nut off, we might be able to hammer the bolt out from this end. All right, John. Oh,
why are you not heating this one?
I'm just making sure the socket fits before I go and spend all that time heating it. I got an angle here, right angle, so hopefully I can get in that relatively easily. That's a making it light. Where's the bad dog? You know, it should be said, you can use oil to quench it, but it just makes more of a mess. It's really smoky and it costs more money. I've greatly exceeded the duty cycle on this one, and we're going to pop this thing on.
Be careful with my exhaust.
Yeah. Really nice, thanks. Yeah.
Oh man, did that just come off?
Yeah.
No shit.
I'm gonna move it back. Is the end of the bolt turning?
No, it's not.
It's coming off like butter.
You seriously have no idea how long that took us on the other side, like 3 minutes worth of heating so that it actually just comes off. I kid you not, I probably spent an hour working on that bolt on the other side.
Oh, I know, dude. That's why I got this induction heater, because even if it takes a little bit longer with the induction heater, which it usually doesn't.
It doesn't. It very much made up for its time.
So you make up for your time, and it's easier to sit here and hold an induction heater up than it is to hold an angle grinder and go do all your, eye stuff to keep your eyes from getting blinded with the angle grinder shit. So
you do eye protection?
Oh, hell yeah.
No. We engage the safety squints around here.
Okay, so I'm gonna get my claw hammer out, which is always the correct tool for every job. We're gonna give this thing a whack and see if it'll move at all.
It is. It moved.
I think it moved.
Oh man, you just messed up my alignment.
Dang it. I'm not gonna pull it all the way off, but we'll get it close so it's not gonna just fall off randomly.
Very cool.
And then the outside is kind of opposite, right? So the bolts come in from the inside and go out?
Yeah. Yeah, the head of this bolt's on the inside.
Got the inside one off. Now we gotta go to the outside one. It's a real tight space here, so I actually hammered out the rusty part here. If you have a nicer car, you might have to work in a tighter space. I'm gonna use a crescent wrench on this thing, honestly, so we got our crescent wrench. Let's go. Let's throw this exhaust pipe on. Cheater bar, come on over.
Mr. Leveragey.
Vanna. We'll see if this thing will pop loose on its own here.
How much leverage did you want?
Go
all of it.
Very, very gently here. See if it'll pop. I think it's bending your exhaust pipe. Let's give it a little heat, Kevin.
Well, let's put some heat on it then.
Yeah, let's do it.
I would be more worried about breaking your wrench than breaking
my crescent wrench. You're worried about breaking my crescent wrench? This thing's kind of smashed pretty flat here, but I think we can get in there and get it heated up. What's the right angle? I'll do that like that. Quenchy bad dog 2. Give this thing a moment to rest. This thing's gonna stay hot for a while, so I'm not worried about it cooling down too much between hits. What are you thinking so far?
Pretty neat.
Yeah. Do they have these in Georgia?
Nothing rusts in Georgia. It's
We have snow to play in, so it's kind of fun.
that's not a selling point at all.
But it's not 100 degrees all summer.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. There's a lot of days that up here it'll be like mid-60s and chill, and back home it's like 112 with 130% humidity.
And pull it off. Let's get this thing on. 17. We'll get our 17 down here. Get our 16. Let's do this. T-Pain.
She's moved.
Now we can hit this with a little more.
And you did it by hand, like with no leverage.
Well, I mean, the double
wrench doesn't count.
It counts, man.
That's the little baby leverage.
That's not very much less than a full breaker bar, and it's more gentle. Like if you use a 5-foot breaker bar, you're more likely to break stuff. If you use this, it's a little bit harder, and you get to. You feel if it goes righty-loosey, you know what's going on.
Probably why I break a lot of stuff.
Well, You gotta be gentle sometimes, man.
No.
Gentle giant.
No, we don't have gentle fingies around here.
If you want to triple the cost of every repair, you go ahead.
I've already priced out drilled and slotted stop techs, so like...
These rotors are not useful.
That rotor has got a lot of life left.
This rotor is completely gone.
There are people that would turn that rotor and send it.
Oh, I'm sure. And you could probably get away with it, but for something that's doing performance driving, I wouldn't.
Is that what we do? Do we do performance driving?
Clarence would call it precision driving, but you might be doing a rallycross or two, so I'd call it performance.
The Supra is my rally car, and we're going to try out some rallycrosses and stuff this year, so if you're interested in that kind of thing, hop over to our channel, Red Hen Racing. We got some cool stuff going on.
Lots of autocross.
Lots of autocross stuff. I make shirts, no big deal.
Yeah. I got a UFO shirt, so who's the winner here, really? It's gonna be tough to get that moved.
I have a crowbar.
We might be able to make that happen.
Yeah.
We've been going here on this outside bolt, and it's been fighting us pretty hard. So I've been whacking on this thing with the breaker bar, but we're trying with something a little more substantial.
You said this was the easy part, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Cool.
You got a big butt made for pooping, don't you?
I'm gonna try that one on tender next. Just because there's a goalie doesn't mean you can't score.
You're supposed to be on the Ashley Madison, aren't you?
Something like that. It's your turn.
Okay. Don't miss. Don't miss, kids. I have a 2-pound sledge for stuff like this. It really gets it for you. Your neighbors must love you. The basic thing happening here is you can get the nut loose. The nut's not the problem. It's the shaft inside. It gets seized inside the bushing, and there's nothing you can do.
What do you reckon? The shank of the bolt is seized to the rubber around it?
No, it's seized to the inner. The sleeve on the
metal
inner
sleeve
is the part that seizes to the bolt, and there's nothing you can do about that. Yeah, gonna have to cutty.
The Lotus Elises that run with us, I'm faster than them. Like,
Jesus.
Not to brag or anything, but I can take a perfectly good car and make it not that.
He can. I bought one that is that. Okay, that will come in a future video probably. We are resorting to measures here.
That thing has potential though. It's got a lot of potential.
We are resorting to measures here on the Parts Celica Supra. He is going to try to cut it off now.
Try.
Get in line there.
Bing! We went from having no room to very little room. This had teeth on it a minute ago. Alright, we got it cut on both sides of the bushing. Got it cut pretty good, and she's free now.
Alright.
So now we just got to pull the bolt out of the other side over there, and
pull the pin, buddy.
It should fall right on out. Oh! Oh! Don't make fun of me, I'm a disabled veteran.
This is your most prized possession.
All right, listed on eBay, $600.
Rust free.
It will be soon, hopefully. You brought some rust converter or something to show me, right?
No, we're gonna go to Menards and get some.
Okay.
Boys, we are home. When we get this stuff all off the car, we want to prep it and make it able to be repainted or powder coated. And the thing that I use actually is right behind you. We just walked past it. Rust remover. It's the good stuff. So you drop your part in there. You can degrease it ahead of time if you need to. Drop it in this stuff and let it soak for a day or two. The stuff will will take all the rust off, and you'll just have bare metal afterward. You just clean it off and you're done. So
We're gonna find out.
We're gonna get 2 for you, because you're gonna need to submerge it.
I'm skeptical.
It's amazing, yeah. We're gonna get this, we're gonna get a big hammer and a punch.
Oh yeah, we need a big hammer.
We're gonna get a couple I would consider them pretty important tools to have around the garage for Gavin to work on old cars.
Mr. Tappy.
Nice. Kind of pins that, you know. Alright.
This one is average.
Why are you doing the shifter like this?
You gotta jiggle it to make sure.
Making sure it's in neutral, or making sure you can still do it?
Just to make sure.
Are they coming off?
No.
Well, we have new tools this time, so hopefully we can get this pivot bolt taken out. This one's fighting me where it wasn't before on the other car. This one, Gavin's got the nut off, so that's a great thing to see. Since this car is a little bit less rusty than the other one, it's not such a fight with everything, but it's still shown to be a little bit of a fight. We're gonna keep going on it. I think our plan or our goal tonight is to get the control arms off, and then I can go home and sleep in my own bed tonight, but looking like probably a full day endeavor. How's the passenger side going? Not well? Could be better.
We could be having an easier time, but nothing horrible, honestly. Like, this stuff is all coming apart a little easier than the other car did for some reason. So, still got plenty of stuff stuck. Still heating and lubing and having to use a lot of leverage, but it's coming apart pretty good. A couple of the caliper bolts are still being a pain in the ass, so we're gonna go ahead and just cut them and commit to trying to find new calipers or pulling the end of the studs out of these once the head's cut off.
I have been working on the driver's side rear caliper bolts, and they are not going well. Well, I should say one of them went well. We got the lower bolt out. That took some hot rod action, and we got that thing to break loose. It took a while. The problem is that it seems like you have to heat the metal around the bolt, but the bolt itself doesn't really want to be heated. So we went up to the top one. It's kind of hard to see, but the top one there is rounded off completely. I could not get a purchase on that thing, and by the time I knew anything was happening, it was rounded off. So looks like we're gonna be cutting that completely off with the angle grinder here in a second, and we are looking for replacement calipers, but it looks like they might be hard to find. I do work at a repair shop now, so I have access to a little bit better research tools than I would otherwise, that I did at Napa even, so hopefully we can get some replacement calipers that are less rusty.
Fun fact, we also damaged the gas tank at that rally, and it leaks fuel, so I'm gonna put a bunch of sparks right next to it. Also in my face.
Do you have a fire extinguisher, Gavin?
You're a fire extinguisher.
Do you have one? Oh my god. Fuel tank is right there, and it's currently wet with fuel. So, congratulations. Smart life decisions.
I've been playing the stupid game for a long time, and I haven't won the stupid prize yet.
You might get a stupid prize today. Let's hope not. That's also where the tire rubbed on the chassis when this thing was, I mean, it's pretty broken, so obviously.
I'm gonna put a new disc on here to have further reach.
All right. We're gonna keep rocking on this thing, but since you already saw us do the job on the parts car, I don't see a huge point in recording all of it. Let's jump forward to when we get something else done. Am I to understand that the brakes are cut off now and they're ready to go?
On that one.
Woo-hoo. Look at that. Let's see if we can knock this baby loose here. And with the magic of replacing the parts anyway, we can get the rotor off. Except the, oh, there we go. And the rotor's off.
Hell yeah.
Perfect.
Yep, it's just gonna have one threaded boy that didn't want to come out that we might have to figure how to get out if we're gonna reuse these guys.
Well, you can easily weld something onto that.
Hopefully we're getting new calipers, which will come with new
brackets.
Yeah. That word.
It's a weird how they have the one pin but not
Yeah, I don't understand why. There's no bolt that goes on the top side. It sits on that one and swings down and bolts into the bottom.
I guess one less bolt.
Yeah. Let me see if you can figure how to get the e-brake cable loose.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. So we have a drum and hat situation here. Pretty standard, but I didn't bring my drum tools. So this wheel bearing I think has a big retainer nut on the backside. So I don't want to deal with that right now. I'm just going to try to get the springs out from the back here, or from the front, and we'll try to extricate all that. On the bottom is going to be an e-brake cable of some kind. We can see if we can get enough access in there to get it out. That's disgusting. What is that? Is that the vacuum clamp?
Yeah, I think so.
Dust cover?
I think it's part of the dust cover.
Insane. I can't believe that. This is rusty all the way up to the pivot, Gavin.
Yeah.
Wow. Alright. We're going to keep her moving. We got access to the e-brake. This is the e-brake cable retainer. And it's very similar to what's on the Corvair actually. But we just need to compress this and pull it through. I'm going to try to get a little oil on it and maybe a channel lock, and we can
everything in there is just falling all apart.
But that also attaches to this arm, so we got to pull it out of the arm first. Pull that spring back, pull it out of the arm from the back side, right there, and then we can pull it through the hole. And it's separated. It's not too bad. It's just the kind of pain in the butt.
I don't know anything about drums in general. All these springs and shit, I don't know where none of that goes.
Oh, it's extremely easy principle. You just have, well, this is no wheel cylinder even, but you have two drums and there's a way to make them expand, and the springs just bring them back. So once you figure that out, it's pretty simple from there. It's about 6 o'clock. I've been here since 9 o'clock in the morning. We've been working on this essentially for 9 hours. So let me show you what happened. Our outside nut is off. Our inside nut is off. On the outside here, we have our whole brakes off. Look at how rusty that is, by the way. That is just insane. I can't believe that.
We were driving on this.
We were driving on this.
We were doing e-brake U-turns on this.
Gavin was drifting on this. Going through giant potholes. So this is our e-brake cable. That's loose from our lever there, but we have to get it through the other side. On the other side here we have this kind of octopus looking retainer here, so you have to kind of pull those all together and then push them through. And we saw on the internet you can put a 1/2-inch wrench box end onto that and it'll kind of hold them all in, and then you can slide them all out. Well, there's a little bracket underneath here that prevents you from sliding a wrench onto the spring portion. So he's gonna go work on that later this week. We'll figure that out, or he will figure that out and get the e-brake cable off. But otherwise the e-brake cable and the two bolts in here are the only things holding this thing on. The bolts are currently seized inside the bushings, so there's, you know, when it's seized in that bushing sleeve, there's nothing you can do whatsoever pretty much. It's gotta cut it off. Thankfully someone already cut this in half, and that someone is the Minnesota Department of Transportation. Has cut this in half with their salt. On this side we have the same deal. We have our nuts off of here. Nuts are loose, and the bolts, the pivot bolts, are seized on their shafts. We also have that e-brake cable situation we have to figure out.
So all's really left is just to get those two e-brake cables released from their homes.
And then pull the bolts out.
And then get the pivot bolts out.
So
that's it. That's all that's left hooked up. And
otherwise it went pretty well. I think we didn't snap any bolts off, but there were a couple in the caliper brackets that would not come out, and they had to be cut off.
Yeah. Some had to be destructively removed, but none of them broke. So I guess that's cool.
It's always better to decide to destroy a bolt than to accidentally destroy one and then say, what do I do now? So what do you think about our techniques, the newfound techniques for removing rusty hardware? Is it useful? Is it not?
Oh yeah, that inductive heater is a lifesaver. I'm probably going to be ordering one of those.
Yeah.
That's a must for working on really shitty seized stuff.
Especially nuts. The nuts come off super easy. The bolts are a little bit harder, but you can get a lot. And you got to get a map gas torch too. We would have used a torch on some of the stuff, but I forgot to bring mine. He doesn't have one, so.
Yeah, so I don't have a whole lot left to get pulled apart tomorrow, and putting it all back together, full rebuild and overall rally build for this is on our channel over at Red Hen Racing. Feel free to come check us out. And
I'll link the video here of how it broke.
Yeah, the full rally video is already up, and it's a good one. It's a banger. You should go check it out.
Go check it out.
Yeah, I would have taken a lot longer to get all this shit done today, so I really appreciate you, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Now that Tyler's gone, we can get some stuff done around here. We're going to say the N word and not recycle. So on the parts car, we had to be careful not to cut into the arms that we're trying to salvage and use. So we cut into the subframe a little. On this one, we've got to do the opposite. We've got to not cut into the subframe and only cut the arms out. You kind of are going to hit one or the other. I've also got a game plan on how to get those pesky e-brake cable squid clip things out. Let me show you. So last night I went ahead and cleaned up this one, but we got it cleaned up, derusted, got the bushings out pretty easily because they were super crusty, but we also got the e-brake cable out. We originally thought that you had to compress all of these little tabbies, but there's actually only 4 that are compressible. So it's really just a matter of taking 2 pairs of pliers at 90-degree angles from each other to compress all 4 of the squid tentacle clippy boys. We're gonna go see if we can get that one off easy enough. Here we go. Whoever designed this clip is an asshole. And with that out of the way, we can gently remove the trailing arm itself. Why won't the axle? I already bent the trailing arm off the rest of the way, but the fucking axle won't separate now. Got him out. Let's take a look at the underside. Wow. We were driving this. We're gonna get these things completely scrubbed down, treated with that rust remover that Tyler picked out for us. We're gonna get them repainted, all new bearings, seals, bushings, everything all the way around. And the car is also getting a couple of other neat suspension conversions to make it perform a lot better. So if you're interested in that, hop over and check out Red Hen Racing. We do some neat stuff, but as far as the restoration side of things, Tyler might be onto something. He's got a few neat tools and techniques that I've never had to deal with before. So if you found any value here today, make sure you're liked and subscribed, and we appreciate you stopping by. What do you want?
Thanks for watching and press on. Do you have an outro for Red Hen?
My name is Jeff.
And you can say and press on in unison. Thanks for watching and press on. I might use the earlier one, I don't know.
Let's fuck some shit up. You have to censor that. You have to bleep it out for your family-friendly channel. Nerd.